welcome to this lesson where I'm going to show you how to play a Guthrie Govan inspired tapping arpeggio sequence. I first heard Guthrie playing something similar to this at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, and it really caught my ear because of that dramatic rippling sound that it has. So I taught myself how to play it or play something similar, and I wrote a track around this tapping sequence that enabled me to sort of use the track as a platform for playing it. I'm not going to play the exact one that Guthrie played because I can't remember it now, but this is pretty much close to what I heard him play, with a few adaptations of my own, and I'm going to show you how to play it. The first arpeggio is an A major 7 arpeggio, and we begin with tapping with our index finger on the top string at the 10th fret. Then we pull off to the 5th fret on the top string. Now my index finger on my left hand is constantly holding down the 1st and 2nd strings. So these two notes, it's an A and an E, and they're acting like a pedal tone that the other notes in the sequence are kind of spiraling around. So we tap on to 10, pull off to 5, hammer on to 9, which is a C sharp. It's a bit stretchy, but once you've got used to it, it sounds really nice. It's just a simple triplet really, it's the classic widdly widdly. So after playing that pattern once, we turn our attention to the B string, and again we hammer on 10 and pull off to 5, and then we hammer on to 7, which is an F sharp. So I'll show you how that goes. Combine the first arpeggio with the second one. And because of the wide intervals, it's got a really interesting sound. It almost sounds like a keyboard kind of arpeggio, and it sounds really effective over power chords. The next chord, or the next arpeggio, is a G major arpeggio. So I'm keeping my right hand in position, I'm hammering on to 10, this time I'm pulling off to 3 on the top E string. Then I'm hammering on to 7, which again is another big long stretch here. I'm hammering on to a B at the 7th fret on my top E string. After playing that once, I move across to the B string, tap with my right index finger on the 10th fret, which is A, pull off to 3. Then I hammer on to 5 on the B string, which is an E. So the full sequence sounds like this. And again, the wide intervals give it a very interesting sort of spacey kind of sound. If I combine it with the first arpeggio, the A major arpeggio, you'll see what they sound like together. The third arpeggio in the sequence is an F major 7 arpeggio. Now this one is slightly easier to play because it's not as stretchy as the previous two. It has a very interesting sound as well. Here we tap on to the 10th fret, pull off to 5 on the top E string. Then we hammer on to 8, which is a C. We play that once, and then we turn to the B string, where we hammer on 10, pull off to 5, then hammer on to 6. So if I play all three of these together now. Now in the backing track that I wrote to kind of accompany this, I used the progression. I went from A major 7 down to G major 7 up to G major, then up to F major 7 and back to G major. So I had a chord progression that went from an A power chord, a G power chord, an F power chord back to a G power chord. It's very similar to the backing music that I had at the start of this demonstration. So the full arpeggio, as I play it, sounds like this. and at the end I do a little flick with my index finger and play an Eric Johnson style power chord, mini power chord, with a root fifth at the end on the top and second strings. I've used this kind of idea many times. I've played it in different keys and different kind of applications and different situations, and it is really good. One thing I've found, it makes a really good substitution for shredding. So if you at the moment you're not, perhaps your alternate picking is not very fast, or you're still working on your legato, but you need a fast lick, this arpeggio sequence works really, really well. It's very effective for that. So I hope you've enjoyed this little mini lesson, and if you have, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you'd like tabs for this exercise, please drop me a line and I will send them to you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.